Hello and welcome to the IABC Busy Webinar. We're talking about how to manage your website for IABC Webmasters. I am Dave Meyer, delighted to have you all with me today. And we're going to get right into things because we do have a lot to cover and a lot of demos today as we go through what's new. This is intended to be a Q&A session that'll help you get all the answers to the questions that you need. So I'm going to start out by just giving you a brief tour of how you can ask us questions. If you're watching this from chaptersite.com, you'll note that on the page, let me go there, on the chapter site page, why can't I see my window? On the chapter site page, we are sharing this account. So if you go to chaptersite.com, you'll note, and let me hit refresh here, that the event for today is published right here on Join Us for the Next IABC Webmaster Webinar. So if you click on here, this will actually show you the event. And if I just scroll down, we're right here. And so you can see me right live here. So if you click on this, you can actually join us on Google Plus and interact, or even better, you can ask questions via the Q&A tool. And so if you go in and either click this link to take you into this page, you can watch. And with this, the cool part is that you can ask questions in the Q&A tool. And so click that Q&A and you'll be able to ask us those questions live. So as we go in here, we'll cover it as well. Another thing that you can do is go into the Google Plus page. And actually, if I refresh this again, you can click and you'll note that there's a Q&A button live on this site right here. So actually, where is that right now? We're at the BusyWeb page. And so in chapter sites right here, we've got this live. Oh, here we go. So if you click on the Q&A button inside of this page, you'll be able to ask us questions. If you miss that, you can send in questions to iabc@busyweb.com, and we'll be standing by to check out and to help you out with everything. Here's the Q&A button that's live on the site. So if I go in here and if I click on this again, what this looks like is the window pops up, and then you'll see that there's ask a new question here. So in chapter site, I need to pause that so that you don't hear me, but click on ask a new question. All you need to be is logged into Google Plus with a Google account, and you simply type your question like this, ask a question here. And I will see that, and I can answer that question in turn live on the event. So let's get back to things here and cover inside of our webinar what's happening inside of IABC and inside of the hosting world. So for Webmasters, we're going to go through a couple of reminders. You already know a little bit about BusyWeb if you've been with us very long, but if you haven't, we'll give you a brief overview of who BusyWeb is and what we do and why we do it. But then we're going to go into why host with BusyWeb and what the benefits are that you already have, because if you're watching, the chances are good that you're already hosted with us, because those are the folks that we send emails out to. So get a hold of us if you do have any questions. We're here and available to answer your questions and concerns, and I'll cover a little bit more about what kind of support you get with the different packages. But we have all but 2 chapters that have responded to our entreaties for hosting payments, and so I believe we are set and ready to move forward. We've got some news and updates that I'm going to share, and then I'm going to go into a little bit of a deeper dive on the Chapter Theme Pro, or the Chapter Site Pro theme. So if you check that out, that would be magnificent, and we'll offer you plenty of opportunities to connect up with us and to get your questions answered about your site, if you wouldn't mind. If you do have a question in particular about your site during this time, just send the URL of your site along with the question that you have so that I can click on it and we'll browse it live. This event is going to be recorded and placed on the event page of IABC or IABC's chapter site. And so definitely want to make that available for you. Make sure that you connect up with us and continue to use the chapter site for your support issues and questions. All right, let's get into the content for today. BusyWeb is an online marketing company that specializes in WordPress web design. One of the biggest things that we do is we host websites, and that is why IABC engaged with us way back in 2012, I guess, to figure out how all of this stuff works. 2013, I suppose, to figure out what we needed to do. The IABC staff was no longer able to support WordPress-powered websites or really any chapter websites. And so they engaged BusyWeb to take that role on as an external trusted advisor. We handle everything. We have the connections, and I certainly have all of the back-end connections to help figure out what you need to do, how you need to do it, and to make your life as simple as possible. So that's my goal for you, and that's what BusyWeb does. We also do web design, and as you've seen, we have a couple of designs that we've made available inside of the event, or so that we've made available for our stuff. So thank you very much for joining us and connecting, and we're going to keep moving forward. I am actually going to connect up. The other thing that BusyWeb does, of course, is we do social media setups. So if your chapter or your company is looking for help with online marketing, we can also help with that as well. And as an added bonus, if you engage us to handle your company's website or your organization or your company's social media, we actually donate a portion of those proceeds back to the IABC Research Foundation. So you can keep supporting IABC in everything that you do. So let's talk about what Busy Hosting is, what you can do with it, and how it works. And let's move forward. So hosting on Busy Hosting is available, started on the 15th of October, that everyone needed to post and connect. And so if you have not paid for your chapter hosting, now is the time to do so. And there's only a couple of chapters that have not responded to our requests. If you have not, and if you have not made other arrangements, your website is actually going to go down next week. So this is the last chance to pay up in order to get your content moving. We want to make sure that you've got all of the support and content that you need. So please make sure to get a hold of us at IABC@busyweb.com if you are not already seeing, or if you have not paid up, or if you're not sure, connect with your treasurer or webmaster. We've been sending lots and lots of messages to the folks that are outstanding on this. So there's a good chance that you know about it if you've seen it. But if you're curious or wondering, just send us a note to, again, IABC@busyweb.com. The good news is that we've doubled the bandwidth. We've given you a brand new theme, and we plan on launching one new theme, one new design each quarter for IABC to use. You can take these chapter themes and you can use them at will. There's no licensing fees or anything involved in that. The only thing that we require is that you're hosted with us in order to use those. And so we build it, you can run it, and each quarter when we launch those themes, I'll give a demo on how to update and launch that theme. There's a couple of ways to do the theme designs and to upgrade your website. You can either hire BusyWeb to do it for you, and that usually takes about 6-7 hours of our time, and usually under $1,000 US to make work. And then the other thing that you can do is you can offer or ask BusyWeb to activate a test server for you in order to let you muddle around with your website without goofing up the design on the real server. And then once you're happy with the new design, all the content is migrated over, everything's happy, BusyWeb will migrate your existing website to the test server, install the theme, give you a little bit of training on how to do it, and then once you're happy with the result, we will migrate all of that new stuff back to your existing website server. So you'll have that, and works out pretty good. I'd say for the split for the folks that have updated their website so far, it's been about a 70-30 split for folks having BusyWeb do it. Honestly, it's an incredibly inexpensive option to get a brand new design for your website. So a lot of folks just opt for that. But if you do have someone that's web savvy on your team or that has a lot of extra time, for BusyWeb, as I mentioned, it takes us around 6 or 7 hours usually of our developers' time to make a new website the way it deserves to be. Set up all of the widgets to connect and create all of the different menus and monitoring bits, and to make everything look perfect. For a person that's not familiar with WordPress and or the Genesis framework, which is the framework that all of the chapter site themes are developed in, it'll probably take you around 10 to 20 hours. And that's been the consensus from the folks that have opted to do the design themselves. So it's all up to you. And certainly we try to meet every budget. So if you do have that option or would like to have us take care of that for you, by all means, please let us know. Benefits of BusyWeb hosting, of course, you know all of these because most of you are here and are clients of ours already, but it all boils down to real people that can actually answer your questions and fix things. Now, we're not superhumans. We can't fix every single thing immediately. Some chapters do have some pretty significant challenges, and there are some handoff details between some of the corporate server stuff and what we're able to make available, especially right now. And I'll go through that in the state of the state right before I talk about the chapter site theme. But there's a lot of really great opportunities to grow your chapter's influence and to help market your organization, your chapter, by using some of these tools. We set up WordPress for you and manage your website for you so that you don't have to worry about getting hacked. And if you do get hacked, you do have an opportunity to get that fixed, and you have someone to actually go to, and we can help you build that and work on it. So if you do have issues, BusyWeb can help you. That's pretty much what it boils down to. There are a whole bundle of things that you can do on your own, and some chapters have opted to move away, and they've moved to any of the ones listed on this slide, whether it's GoDaddy, DreamHost, HostGator, Bluehost. All of those are shared service providers. You can get your website hosted for as little as $10 a month, but you are completely on your own if anything breaks. GoDaddy in particular, as well as HostGator and Bluehost, will actively shut down your website if they see anything wrong with it. So your website will just disappear. And you won't have any recourse. You won't have any action. You'll be able to send them an email and ask what's happening, but they'll just tell you, well, something's wrong, and here's the source file, and figure out how to fix it. We don't operate that way, and we like to give you as much help as possible on the site. So if you need to work with real people, if you just want to have a trusted advisor to give you all of the help that you need, that's what BusyWeb can do. If you do have to move, there are some details that you need to attend to, but the key thing is that you're getting a lot of value inside of your hosting package. So for even the basic hosting package, you get access to the Genesis plugins and the parent theme, and that's $60 a year, or $60 one time. Gravity Forms is our form tool that we install for chapters that request it and that are hosted with us, and that's $39 a year. Backup Buddy, which offers site backups and a small level of security, is $80 a year. The Busy Monitoring plugin that you see on your website, please don't modify that, because that's what lets us access and help secure and update your website as necessary. That's $120 a year to maintain. And then, of course, there's our support. Our support's at $155 an hour. And depending on your package, you get from 1 to 6 hours for that. So not including the actual hosting, the value that you're getting from working with BusyWeb is at the minimum $453.95 for your $250 a year website, or $1,228.95 for a platinum website, which runs $1,000 a year. So that's what we're looking at, and that's why it pays to stay with us. That's actually why IABC engaged us, because they knew the chapters needed more than just the wild, wild west. There's a lot of things that happen out there, and especially as a volunteer-led organization, there's different levels of expertise in the IABC chapter leadership world. And so some folks will have fantastic webmasters, and there's actually a bunch of great chapters that do that. Toronto in particular has a great team that BusyWeb works with. And there's other chapters that just have no idea and that don't have any interest in maintaining a website. We're communicators, all of us, but not all of us are technicians, especially in the web world. And so that's why we're here. If you do need to request support, there's a couple of very simple ways to do that. You can just go to chaptersite.com/support or email iabc@busyweb.com. And here's what's supported. If you need your password reset, we can do that for you. If you need to monitor and maintain, or we do monitor and maintain your site. So if you see that there are a bunch of plugins that are out of date, note that we do update plugins on a quarterly basis unless there is a security issue. And so for those plugin updates or WordPress updates that do include security issues, we like to update those as soon as humanly possible. If you do note that your chapter is on an older version of WordPress, the reason that's happened is that your chapter theme, your design, or one of the plugins on your site would break if we were to upgrade your site. So BusyWeb is going to be proactively reaching out to you over the course of early 2015 to get your chapter website updated, to update the design. That's actually one of the reasons why we're making the chapter site and chapter site pro designs available to the world, and is to give you a viable option to move away from some of the older designs that would break under WordPress 4.0. So we monitor and maintain your site. We take care of all of the approved plugins, and I'll walk through those plugins in just a moment. But for all plugins that are supported and on our list, we maintain those and update them. They amount to fancy and plugins that are supported by real development teams. So if you've got folks that update with every WordPress update or as security holes are found, those are the plugins that we support, because it just doesn't pay to get a free plugin that does something really neat that then is going to fall into disrepair or get hacked. And we've had a number of chapters that have actually had issues with exactly that. They've had bum plugins that don't work well, and their site has been hacked and compromised and has actually taken their site down. So we've worked with those chapters and they're now fine again, but you need to actively maintain that. So take a look at your plugins and gauge it against the list that's on there. If you have questions about any of the plugins that are on your site or if they should be used, by all means, get a hold of us and we'll be able to help you out with that as well. We do site-wide SEO, search engine optimization activation. So to help transfer your titles into meta titles and the first little bit of your website or each page, to turn that into meta descriptions, and to just make sure that your website is getting submitted via XML sitemaps. We take care of all of that for you. We can handle social media integration. This is by request. If you would like to have Snap Social Network Auto Poster installed on your chapter site, please request that from us. We'll give you a brief tutorial, but 3 months ago now, I went through an in-depth tutorial on how to set up the Social Network Auto Poster. What that gets you is every time you update your website, it automatically updates social networks, including Facebook, LinkedIn on a group page or company page, your Twitter account, your Google Plus page, if you have those, and etc. We also include Pinterest and about 12 other accounts. We also do spam screening, removal, and blocking. There are a couple of chapters that when we migrated over and took control of their hosting, had hundreds of thousands of spam posts on them. What that does is it opens you up for issues down the road. Malicious code can be injected into spam posts, and it just clogs up your website. If you have 2 gigabytes of spam comments, which is what some of those chapter sites did have on them, that slows down your website and it clogs up the server. So we take care of all of that for you, and it's just unprofessional, so we help you with that, all the way down to installing Akismet, the anti-spam tool, and you can either use your own login or we can provide one for you to register that tool for you. We do site backups, malware scanning, and uptime monitoring as well. Simple, easy, and we take care of you on all of those points. However, what does not what is not included in the annual support programs is content updates. So we won't update the About Us page for you or change content on your website. We're all authors and writers and communicators in the IABC world, so that shouldn't be a big deal. We also don't do design updates. If you need to change something on your website, we can absolutely help you with that, but that does fall outside of what's considered support for IABC chapters. So if it's a design, if it's a code change to make something look different on your site, we'll need to talk about that separately. And of course, we can do it quickly, easily, and inexpensively, but we do need to talk about that separately. Updating forms. We'll set you up with Gravity Forms, which is a fantastic tool and incredibly easy to use, but we won't make those changes for you. That's something that the chapter needs to do. If there are non-supported plugins that are available, we'll do our best to make sure that plugins are up to date, but we can't test against all of the thousands of chapter plugins that have been installed on your site. So we have our list, and the list that we've made has been curated to help handle almost everything we could think of that a chapter would need. So the hope is that you'd be able to use one of the supported plugins that has, again, real developers that actually support your website and that are actively working on that site and those plugins, versus, the one-off fly-by-night. There's thousands of them out there, and there's all kinds of bad code inside of those, so we need to be careful with that. If your site is hacked because of a non-supported plugin or because a bad password has been shared, we will, again, absolutely help you get your site back online, but that will be outside of the support range. So the regular support fee of $155 an hour would apply to that. If that's outside of your budget, we will make the access levels available to you to help fix what you need, but someone's going to have to fix it, and so we'll help in any way that we can in as budget-friendly a way as possible. So if you look at that, gold, platinum, and even basic accounts do have 1, 3, and 6 hours of support attached to them. And so, a lot of the questions and answers, fixes, flubs, adjustments to plugins can all be handled underneath that support level. So we'll do what we can. And of course, our biggest thing is really just to assign and connect with as much as possible for you to make this, to make managing your chapter website one of the things that you just don't have to worry about. All right, so let's go on. And before I go into the chapter site pro theme, I just wanted to give a quick state of the state. From what I'm understanding, the new IABC.com is going to be going live sometime in the next 30 days. That's fantastic news. And according to the folks that I know, we are going to be also activating sometime in Q1 the ability for chapters to log in and to use and connect with IABC membership data to allow for members-only functions inside of that chapter or inside of your chapter theme. So in the past, that had been one of the things that was readily available for all chapters. Everything was built on the same server, including the IABC.com server, but of course they've moved away from that model for security's sake and just to help manage the load, and that's why BusyWeb again is here. So that data connection, we are working on that fast and furiously to try and get that ready before the new IABC.com does go live. We are working in tandem with the developers of the new IABC.com to come up with a new plugin that's going to be even simpler and easier for us to manage. My hope is that the development time or the options would be such that we'd be able to just make that available to chapters, but we're going to have to see what it actually looks like in practice and how much time is going to be required to maintain that specific set of code before we offer up what it's going to take or what package level is going to be required for that plugin. Right now, any gold or platinum package plugin or package chapter will be able to get access to that, and that will not change. But The hope is that we'll be able to offer a light version as well to the chapters that have opted for the basic hosting, which is $250 a year. So that said, one of the other things that's exciting about what BusyWeb is doing, at least as far as chapter members and folks that are looking to update their chapter site, is that we are now rolling out new versions of brand-friendly IABC chapter themes. So what we're doing for you is rolling out new stuff, and we're going to do that once a quarter. The fourth quarter chapter theme is Chapter Site Pro, and so here's that theme. Now, you've seen chaptersite.com and the design inside of that. That design has been taken up by 8 or 9 chapters so far. And so very exciting, works really well. We've given you tutorials and details on how to update and maintain that site. Chapter Site Pro is very similar. It's mobile responsive. And so, all of the data looks great, whether it's on a mobile device, on an iPhone, an iPad, an Android, or a tablet. And it's more dynamic than ever. So you'll note when I give you the live tour that the images across the top in that slider are very, very dynamic and actually take up the entire above the fold section and gives you a very clear call to action to drive right to what chapters need, what chapter membership needs to know. And then we get right into news right from the homepage. So super fun, super easy. Navigation is clean. This is a very much Web 3.0 sort of a design. And there's all kinds of information and options that are available inside of the Chapter Site Pro design to make your site easy to maintain and update. I believe IABC Chicago is going to be the first chapter that's going to use that design. And so we're excited to announce that, and we'll demo that next month when they're ready. So let's go into it. One of the cool things that you can do inside of that Chapter Site Pro theme is embed all of your videos and tweets. If you just paste the URL for YouTube into that page, or the YouTube URL of an account, it'll automatically put the Chrome around it where it has the player, the share buttons, the YouTube button, and it just looks great with just a simple copy and paste. There's no more embed code that you need to worry about. And the same thing for Twitter. You don't need to do any fancy stuff for that. You simply need to paste the permalink of the tweet into that section, and it grabs your icon, your user image, your name, your handle, a follow button, the content of the tweet, any links that are in the tweet, the time, and then some share buttons. You can retweet, favorite, or reply right inside of that tweet link. And that does that all automatically. All you need to do is paste the link. Let's go into the Chapter Site or the Chapter Site Pro design so that I can demo this a little bit for you. So note, this is going very fast to demo this for you, but we have featured posts that are available, large, very dynamic imagery. This is super fun as you look at connecting up, showing pictures of your membership, reaching out to folks, and really focusing on easy content. All you need to do is add a post and give a post a category so that you can look at that post. So if I click on featured post number 2, for example, and if I click edit post because I'm logged into the site, you'll note that this is clicked as featured. If I were to unclick the featured category, that post would no longer show up in the main section on the top. The other thing that we have is a featured image, and this is that image that shows up on that background. So it's bigger than what it looks like. You know, if I click on this, it actually is that full-size image, and there are some size requirements to make that image look good. But it's a simple matter of creating a new post, giving it the title, giving it some text, you know, putting some information into the, looks like I need to turn on the excerpt. And so I shall do that. And so inside of excerpt, you can type in content. So this is excerpt text. And by default, it'll pull that excerpt text first over, or if you get type in excerpt text, it just grabs the first little bit of content from your page. So now if I go back to Chapter Site Pro, we look at featured post number 2, it's going to show you the details inside of here. So here's featured post number 1, featured post number 2. Oh, it's grabbing the additional, I need to change a setting inside of there to make it grab that. But it's grabbing a little bit of text so you can see exactly what you're looking at and looking for. There's simple navigation right here. This is built right in on the default menu structure of WordPress. And there's another WordPress or navigation menu that you can add and edit on the top so that you have dual navigation. I mentioned that this site is mobile responsive, and here's what that looks like. Whoops, I'm grabbing an image. So if I wanted to make this iPhone width, you can see what it's doing. It makes the site easy to grab, mobile responsive, and your drop downs are all included right inside of here so that you can see and do what you need. So that's simple, easy. It grabs the 4 columns, makes them into one, and all of your posts are automatically redesigned and popped in where they belong on the site. If I make this bigger, you can see where they're going. We've got this top section, your chapter logo. This can be any color that you like, of course. And then you get sections across the middle with icons, and these are text widgets that you can edit and create to drive to join us, events, education. You know, a lot of this is standard, or we've already modified it a little bit to give you an idea of what you could do. News for your chapter is right on the home page and also available under other navigation. But then you also have a simple key for the most recent posts inside of here as well. So you get snippets of the first 3 here. You can set it for more, but we limited it to 3 in this case. And if you click on this, you can actually see all of these and what you've got. You can see the sample layouts down here. So if I have content sidebar, which is this one, sidebar content, that looks like this. Content sidebar, sidebar, that looks like this if you're going to use that. If you needed to have 2 sidebars, if you needed full width content, that's how that looks. And very simple and easy. So it works good. You know, I talked about the other sidebars, but you can do sidebar content if you want to get crazy. And then, you know, here's the example of a blog page, also archive page. So this shows you basically everything on your site. And then if you wanted a landing page that's completely simple or completely separate, that doesn't have any branding, if, for example, you were publishing or sharing an event that you needed to dual promote with another organization, this would make a lot of sense to manage or to use. So that is an overview of what's available in the Chapter Site Pro theme. Let's look at how you can customize it. If I go into the main section and go to customize, the nicest part about this is that you can actively browse around and then change things on the fly with the Chapter Site Pro theme. So if I wanted to change out colors, for example, and if I wanted to change the background color, I could change that to a gray. And I don't know if that's going to do anything on the homepage. Oh, yep, it changed it down here. And I can do that, or I can just go back to current color. And it's white here. So I'll just change that back to FFFFFFF. And that makes it very simple to manage and maintain. These are all test changes. None of this is actually registering across the site. So if I simply X'd out of it and left the page, that would go away. And I wouldn't have to worry about my changes being captured. And it's a good thing I didn't, because I had a slightly different color and I would have ruined that color if I was goofing around with it. So this is where a tutorial and having handy tips and tidbits is going to make more sense for you. If I wanted to change the navigation, for example, I can change the navigation so that I'm checking out different menus. You can actually edit different menus inside of here if you'd like. But then inside of the widgets, this is where it gets the most fun. You can look at header right, which is up here, primary sidebar, that's on the sub pages. So if I go to, you know, for example, content sidebar, and if I wanted to look at primary sidebar, recent posts, what's new, that's what's in this sidebar. So if I wanted to change that to what's really new, you'll see that that changes live and on the fly. So it's very simple to manage, maintain, and update. If I wanted to change the amount of posts so that I would show 10, again, that'll add that, and it's doing it on the fly. It's almost magical how easy this thing is. Super fun. I'm going to change this back and change this back so that it looks good, or so that it looks as we expect. And then I can go into, for example, the footer. So footer 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all available. You can change this out. We've simply done text widgets inside of here. This is very easy and simple. If I put it up in a title, it shows slightly differently with the bold. And so if I liked that a little bit better, I could make that an opportunity. We opted for just a little bit bigger text than the join here, but you can do it either way if you'd like. If you move that away, again, it goes back, everything looks good. So you can manage and maintain any of these widgets as necessary. And then as we go back, customizing widgets, it tells you what those widgets are. There's header right, primary sidebar, and then our footers. And then back on the home, static front page, if I look at that, it'll tell you what to do on the static front page if you wanted to have your latest posts on the page, or a static page and have that show up underneath the fold on the home page here. I could select that instead of static posts. So if I selected a static page and wanted that page to be the about page, for example, just need to find my about page. We'll make it the contact page for now. Then that shows up here. So you can go right into contact us. Again, I can still change this sidebar, but that's if you didn't want to have your news on the home page. I like having the news on the home page and having it select that way, but it's entirely up to you. Content archives, you can have it display post excerpts or the entire post. And with the site layout, you can select what the default is if you just click new page and have that go in right there. For breadcrumbs, you can select what kind of pages you wanted to show breadcrumbs on. So on my posts page, I can add that on single pages, on pages, archive, 404, and attachment media probably don't make sense. So I can add that in. If I go into my posts page, so for example, my blog page, now I should see the breadcrumb navigation. So if I wanted to turn that off, I could just unclick these different pages. So if I looked at posts page, if I unclick this, this will go away. Or is it single and then page? Yep, there it goes. So now it's gone. So if I wanted it, this is a page, so it's here, templates blog page, but then simple or single pages and post pages would also apply. And then content archives, what's included, comments and trackbacks, if you wanted to have these on here, enable comments on posts. If you're not actively going to ask your membership to comment back on posts, I would uncheck this. Same thing with trackbacks. It's just not necessary, and spammers use this a lot, or SEO, black hat tactics folks use this a lot. So that's probably where you're seeing a lot of your spam comments and posts coming from. We should go into that at some point in the future, but for right now, not necessary. Color scheme, you can select that default, and it's blue, green, red, or purple. We just left it at the default for this one, of course, but that's how you modify your chapter site. That's it. That's all. That's easy. Back on the main chapter site design, again, the benefits of this one as opposed to the Chapter Site Pro are that there's a little bit more ability to select calls to action on this page. Contact support at chaptersite.com/support for help. If I remove that, this entire orange bar goes away. The nice sidebar on the home page I do like on this one. So it's different ideas, or different folks like different types of things. So that's what we make available. I mentioned before that I would go through the plugins and what's available inside of the Webmaster forum. There's a link to recommended plugins and tools. So if you go in here and you click on recommended plugins and tools, This is our list of what we support and suggest for about anything we could think of other than e-commerce, because e-commerce is an entirely different beast. And please talk to us if you wanted to sell or register folks on your own website, because there's a bunch of security issues that you need to think about before you do that. Right here for approved plugins is Akismet, Backup Buddy for site backups. bbPress is the form software that you're looking at right here. If you wanted to allow your membership to log in and suggest comments, to chat, and maybe to have this as a members only function so that only members can see the comments that you're making, it's a great option. Display widgets adds widgets to the sidebars on the fly. So it's a great way to add extra widgets or different types of widgets to different categories of pages. All of the Genesis plugins, that's just necessary to make these different sidebars, polls, quizzes, or no, I'm sorry, simple sidebars, responsive slider, which is what you're seeing at the top of the busy or at the chapter site pro and chapter site theme. Google Analyticator to watch analytics for your website. XML sitemaps to support, that's the SEO submission tool. Gravity Forms is the extra ability to register and to do surveys and contact us forms, registrations for events if you want it. If you wanted to do things like purchase or allow PayPal, there are extra plugins that you'd have to purchase separately to do that, but they're all very inexpensive and they're all one-time only fees, which is very cool. Jetpack by WordPress allows you to do a bunch of different things, some different ways to do analytics. We don't use it a lot at BusyWeb, but if there are a lot of chapters that do like that. Lazy Load actually speeds up your website by only loading images that you can see on the screen. Quick Page Post Redirects, that's 301 redirects for search engine optimization. Think of it as an address forwarding form to allow you to go from your existing or from your old page to your new. If you change the site structure of your website, this is what tells Google where your old pages went so that you don't lose the link juice from those pages. Revolution Slider is another slider that we like that has text on it. Rotating text is for testimonials and other things. It basically is a slider that only has text on it. Security plugins, Events Calendar and Events Calendar Pro. Pro is available at an additional fee, but the Events Calendar, which is used on a number of busy websites, if you'd like to check that out at, for example, busyweb.com/events, helps you manage and maintain your events, including venues. Very, very slick. TinyMC Advanced is a great way to edit your content. It's actually built into WordPress now, but there are a few extra things that you can do in Advanced, like doing different tables and other kinds of formatting. WordPress Hashcache blocks a lot of the spam bots and a lot of the bugs that are intended to crash servers. And WP Favorite Posts is a way to manage your favorite posts and highlight them, basically to make specific posts sticky on your website or to keep them at the top no matter what. And then WP Smush It is a great way to resize and compress your images so that your site loads quickly. I am quickly checking the IABC support page to make sure that I haven't missed any questions. This is your chance to go ahead and ask us questions via the Q&A tool. Again, if you've checked in with us over here at this page, if you're watching live from the Hangout, we have one joker right here. But if you would like to ask a question, this is your time. So I want to make sure that that's available. Otherwise, we're only going to hang out for a few more minutes because I've got all of my content completed. So I'm checking out the support box. I don't see anything in the support box right now. But if you do have something, either send an email to iabc@busyweb.com or get a hold of us via this tool right now. Last chance. While I wait for that last chance to move over, I'm going to switch back to PowerPoint and go through the rest of my slides. If you have any questions, this is your time. Not sure where that's going, but to wrap up, go ahead and check out the library of pages and posts All of our webinars since January of last year have been published on the chaptersite.com site. And so you can just scroll down, check out all of them. Talks about what we're talking about in each one of them. So, for example, last August or in August, we went through an in-depth overview of plugins and support modules. In February last year, I believe we went through an in-depth overview of how to set up the chapter site theme. And this time we went through more detail about how to set up the chapter site pro theme and talked a lot about some admin details. So go through that. We talk about security issues. We talk about overviews in search engine optimization. The key thing is I'd love to hear more about what you are interested in. So as one last reminder, we're sending out a final reminder about the chapter Webmaster survey to hear what you have to say and to give you a chance to ask your questions. Every time when we do send out these messages, we also give you the option to register questions in advance. I'd love to be able to cover those and cover what matters most to you. If you'd like to learn more about social media integration, how to form effective email marketing campaigns, how to do pretty much anything under the sun, BusyWeb can help you as long as it's online marketing related. So give us a shout. Let us know what's happening and what you'd like to see, and we'd love to help. As a reminder, BusyWeb does web design. So if you'd like to contract with BusyWeb to create your own completely custom chapter site design, we can do that for you, as well as for your organization. And again, as a reminder, anything that we do as a result of an IABC member referral, we take a portion of those profits, 5% of the profit on that job, and we donate that to the IABC Research Foundation. So help us support the Research Foundation and give us lots more jobs. We also have online marketing programs. So if your chapter or your organization could use help in search engine optimization, content writing, online marketing, email newsletters, or email templates, including marketing campaigns around drip emails to send out multiple campaigns to specific people, we can absolutely help with that. Every Wednesday, we do busy webinars, and we're talking about online marketing next week on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving in the US. So would love to have you connect up with us. Go to busyweb.com/events and keep an eye on that. We'd love to have you at those events as well. Those tend to be a little bit more topic specific because we're getting right into different methods and modes of online marketing in our busy webinars. Those are from noon to 1 p.m. Central Time in the US. And so would love to see you there. That's it. If you would like to have BusyWeb talk to you about what you're doing as a chapter or what your organization is doing, if you go to busyweb.com/buzz, you can request a Buzz report, and we'll go through your website and check out your search engine optimization and conversion tactics. We'll look at your online marketing, your social media, your email marketing, and give you an option or ideas to improve your results based on any of those options. This is free for IABC members, so would love to have you connect up with us and go to busyweb.com/buzz for more information. Again, I am Dave Meyer at BusyWeb. We are at the end of this busy webinar, so thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next month on the third Thursday. We might have to adjust that now that I'm thinking about it, because I think that falls right around the Christmas holiday. So we'll get a hold of you in advance of that and probably do it a little bit earlier next month. But this will be more of a year in review, like what we've seen happen as big trends. And then in January, we'll be covering a demo or a update on what's coming in 2015 as far as online marketing, so that you can keep your chapter and your organization at the forefront of the online marketing world. Again, I'm Dave Meyer with BusyWeb. Thank you very much for joining us today. And as a reminder, BusyWeb helps you generate buzz without getting stung. Have a fantastic month, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.